The economic transformation of any state depends on the plans and policies formulated by the government of such state. In Ogun State, the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration has left no stone unturned since he took over the mantle of leadership at transforming and unlocking the economic potentials of the state. One of the numerous initiatives taken is the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, OGSTEP, supported by the World Bank. It is aimed at increasing the private sector participation in the economic development of the state, with a focus on improving business environment, strengthening the Agric food value chain, as well as upgrade skills of the citizenry. Recently, the Economic Transformation Project, OGSTEP, organized a stakeholder forum in order to set up a framework for responsible and inclusive land agricultural investment, Frilla, whose main aim is to create an enabling environment for investors, as well as increase their confidence and protect them from environmental and social risk associated with land investment. Speaking at the forum, which was held at the Obas Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta, the project coordinator, Mrs. Mosumola Owo Odunsi, represented by the technical and vocational educational training specialist, Mr. Eyo Unyima Abasi, explained that land as a key factor in the agricultural business should be given a proper approach in its acquisition and allocation.
One of the key aspects of economic development is agriculture. And you and I know that agriculture contributes the largest GDP, into a good state. About between 22 to 25% of the GDP of a good state is actually agriculture. So we are in the right stage when we are advancing economic development. We must be able to look into agriculture properly to be able to see how we can do that. And we cannot advance agriculture without looking at a key element when it comes to land allocation. When it comes to land acquisition and allocation, we can't but look into it. It's very key, it is very important. And that is why we are all seated here, to be able to look at Frilla itself and to see how we can engage further to advance the cause of this initiative as much as possible. And if you look at Frilla, in its way, I think Ogun State is the second state after Kaduna. When we talk about Frilla, I think it's about fairness between the person that is, selling and the person that is buying, or the person that is giving and the person that is receiving the land. It's just trying to establish fairness for all parties involved, so that at the end of the day, when there is fairness for all parties involved, the investment upon which the investment that will be on that land that we are actually looking at will be worthwhile.
Mr. Onyima Abasi maintained that agriculture is the backbone to economic development and that Frilla will bring about fairness, which is a key factor in investment.
When you have fairness, amongst all stakeholders, you are bound to the fact that investment is going to do very well. You know how we have always had issues when it comes to land matters, and when there are a lot of issues around land matters, investment becomes difficult. Because investors are not certain about the resolution of all these issues, and as a result, it makes a lot of investors to actually hold back on wanting to actually say, should we come or should we not come? If we have the potential unlocked in the state when it comes to agriculture, we can't but give attention to the matter of Frilla, so that there is fairness when it comes to land acquisition and allocation.
Series of goodwill messages poured in on the economic benefits of Frilla from stakeholders at the event.
However, we're going to think about all of this. Our people, in the best interest, that they're going to move them to performing at a level of concern with the infrastructure in the rural area and the access to opportunities. I mean equal access when I say opportunities in this regard, and the concerns to the economic value. Of course, that's brought me here. The partnership arrangement and the interest of the Rural Development Ministry has equally brought me here. And to actually show the concern and the interest and the support of the ministry to the agricultural base of our rural area. More importantly, that a large number of such happens in the rural areas of the world. I must tell you, this is not what I actually planned or prepared for, but of course, it is something of interest and we should leave with us. And of course, we must know that while we talk about the residents, we will talk about their livelihoods. We talked about their livelihood, we talked about the economic value. And how best do you describe that without agriculture? It is not possible. I, again, will want to assure you that every opportunity or every requirement that is expected of rural development in the capacity of the ministry, by the grace of God, it shall be made available.
Agriculture is the backbone to our economy, and the development of the entire ecosystem is critical to economic growth and development. It spans across all sectors, and as well aware, it contributes significantly to our GDP amongst other things. Once we see development in that entire ecosystem, we start to see things develop, things grow, people are directly empowered. Frilla being rooted in fairness is something that is critically lacking in our nation today. My prayer is that this project thrives and empowers the common Nigerian and to dig deeper the common people of Ogun State. I'm not surprised that Ogun State is a pioneering state for Frilla because this Ogun State has always showed a seriousness towards economic development and especially towards Agric. As you've seen the cargo airport being developed. These are critical infrastructures that are important to the ecosystem. Fairness is something that is critical in business. Investors are more confident, landowners feel secure in their business dealings, and ultimately all stakeholders get to contribute to the value chain. I think this discussion today is very critical. I think it's important for us to have open discussions that will contribute and continue to seek growth and prosperity.
We should look at failure from a justice point of view. In Ogun State and Southwest Nigeria, we are very underutilized in our arable land agriculture. Frilla is not just a document, it's something we need to live. We claim to be rich, but we are not rich if we don't unlock the resources we are sitting on. These resources need mega investments. So what is Frilla about? There should be protection and safety nets for the ancestral community, for the investor, for stakeholders, for women and youth, and for the government. It is only when we have a very good system that we can attract more investments and it will be mutually beneficial to all. The Land Use and Allocation Committee is working in very deep cooperation with the Agricultural Land Allocation Committee and the Agricultural Ministry and team. So it is virtually impossible for us to have veritable investments without a good Frilla implementation.
We are all aware that Ogun State has a development plan that spans many years. But in the bid to implement the development plan, there comes the OGSTEP, the Ogun State Economic Transformation Program, for which Agric is a key sector. And one of the key elements in the implementation of the agricultural component of the projects is this Frilla. The state government, working with the World Bank, with support of the World Bank, is implementing OGSTEP, of which Agric is a key sector. The agricultural component of the project is aimed at addressing the various challenges that we have in the agricultural sector, of which land is very key. The framework for responsible and inclusive land-intensive investment in agriculture, it is the order of the day. Nigeria is not being exempted for what is going on around the world as far as reforms is concerned in land. The idea is to improve the access to land by investors, establish cordial relationship among the key stakeholders on land investment projects, which include the community, the investors, as well as government. I want to appeal to everyone of us to be attentive so that we can have the full gist or full detailed information about the concepts. When you look at it, we are talking about being fair, being just on land transaction in the states. And I believe that at the end of this program will be well reached.
Dr. Kende Thomas, a social specialist on Ogun State Transformation Project, spoke extensively on the essence of OGSTEP, which is basically to woo investors and bring about individual prosperity.
Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, of course, is meant from the world to bring about a transformation, particularly for rural communities and urban communities in the area of agriculture, skills development, and business environment. Why OGSTEP? Several things are to be achieved, one of which is to improve business enabling environment and attract private investors. You will discover that Ogun State is the gateway, and the proximity to Lagos, which is the economic nerve of Nigeria, has a lot to rub on the state. And when we have this economic transformation, everybody in the state will be good or better for it.
Dr. Thomas further explained the project development objectives and the beneficiaries alike.
We have some project development objectives, and of course the project development objectives remain central to Ogun State's economic agenda. And of course, you will see here that the aim is to create an enabling environment for a public-private partnership to drive sustainable economic development and individual prosperity. The project also targets at improving business enablement, like mentioned, fostering private sector participation in agriculture, value chain, and upgrading skills, which is intended to contribute to economic development agenda. That is the main focus. And when you look at the key areas for OGSTEP, we have the improving business environment, which is BE. We have also upgrading skills. We have developing agricultural food value chain and the public sector reform. When you weave these four together, these are the key things that are knitted together to be called OGSTEP. The key thing here is to ensure that where we have agricultural business, we are creating an environment for it. And in all of these things, there is a component of skill development wherein our schools, particularly technical colleges, will be revamped to produce services to make labor available for our industries. And of course, you can see the interconnectivity in all of these concepts that we are talking about. And who are the beneficiaries? And when you look at this slide, of course, the people in Ogun State, they are the main beneficiaries. And farmers in Ogun State, foreign and domestic investors, and of course, Ogun State government, the entrepreneurs in agri-food value chain,
these are the beneficiaries of this noble project.
Thomas said there is need for the sensitization of the program for it to be more effective and well implemented.
Effectively, the project came to limelight March the 15th, 2021. And we're in the second year, and we are moving very fast to ensure that all the deliverables are delivered within the 5-year gestation that have been allotted for this project. And of course, there's a need for this sensitization so that all the prospective beneficiaries will be able to plug in into what the government is intending to deliver to the citizens and the investors alike in Ogun State.
Olotu Oladipo Shofora, a Frilla specialist, dwelt more on what Frilla stands for and the implementation plans adopted and approved by the World Bank.
There is a global concern about food security all over the world. With the growing population, food is becoming something that, if care is not taken, it will become so scarce that people might start dying of hunger. So it's a global concern. And I think even now, we have started experiencing it. So the Food and Agricultural Organization, United Nations, the Committee on Food Security, the World Committee on Food Security, and even the African Union came together to address this issue. And this was as far back as 2006, 2005, 2006. And one thing that came to the fore is that when you even talk about food, where will the food come from? It comes from land. And if land that we are talking about is not well managed, if land that we are talking about is not well administered and controlled, we will not even have the food security we are talking about. And when you talk about land, where is the land that we produce this food we are talking about situated? It's situated in the rural areas, with our farmers, with the rural people, the villages, the hamlets, which are inhabited by people. So when this land is to be used for agriculture, the people that live in these areas, the people that are already farming that land, their lives must be impacted. That is just the simple path that Frilla is talking about.
Shofora explained the process for investors and the community entry mechanism.
In Frilla, when we talk about the main stakeholders, we talk about the government, who is the custodian by our law, by the Land Use Act, who is the custodian of land in the state. We talk of investors. Who are the people that will get this land and invest on it? Then we now talk about the community, which are the people that we feel the impact, whether good or bad. And all these three stakeholders, Frilla is saying that these three stakeholders must benefit from any agricultural investment. The community must benefit from the fact that they will be part of the decision making. They will be part of the project in terms of recognition, in terms of infrastructural provision, in terms of collaboration,
in the production process. What we say there is that if an investor goes to my village in Agric, my town, it's not a village, to farm, and is allocated a piece of land. He wants to go into agricultural processes, or he even wants to go into cassava production. What we are saying is that the existing farmers in that location must be engaged. Either use them as approvers or employ them, create job for them. That is one. Then we now look at what are the other things in that area that will benefit the community. It may be road, it may be other infrastructures. So the community must have something to gain from that investment coming there.
Giant strides caught up with some of the stakeholders, and they are optimistic that Frilla would be of immense benefit and bring about the much desired enabling environment for investors and fairness on the part of the host community.
Frilla is a novel idea. By the facilitators, they've made us understand that Ogun State is the second state in Nigeria that has queued into the program. And by the presentation so far, I have seen that it is the only way out to engage more people and bring them into farming. Because as we know, farming cannot be done on sky. You will need land. And that's the primary and fundamental input in any farming activity, whether livestock, crop, cash crop, arable crop, or whatever. So this program is bringing land to everybody, and it's making it easier for us to access land. Because what we face mostly, or investors face mostly, is acquiring land from rural communities. They will allow them to acquire the land. When they have established whatever they want to establish, you see them creating problems for them. They will not have opportunity to access the land any longer. But that is one of those things Frilla is going to tackle. We are going to step down this program at the local government level. At least we're still going to call community leaders, opinion leaders, so that they too can come around and queue into this program. Because that is where we need to start from. The land belongs to families and communities ab initio, before the land use decree comes in or the land use act comes in.
It's a good initiative by the Ogun State government. It is just trying to organize what already exists in a rudimentary state. If it is fast-tracked, it will lead to faster Agric development. There's always a community approach. Agric extension agents are trained, and the government can also train. Those conflicts always exist. We've had it as well in Ogonshu, where they want to sell the land to a large scale breweries or something, rather than use it for Agric purposes. The government has its role to play. Now, if it's an area that is already committed, we make the farmers there understand why it cannot be sold to estate developers and other things. But let's be sincere, even most Agric farms are located in the rural areas, and that is for a purpose, because as development comes up, it catches up. It catches up with the farms, and the only thing the farms do is they have to move back. So if you don't want them to continue moving like that, you have to have committed land. Once the land is committed and you keep engaging with the community, there are ways and modes, and develop the community. That's what is important. Most people want to run to Lagos or Ogun State now because they see opportunities for jobs and motorcycle riding and things like that. But once all those things phase out, we'll come back to it. Food is life. A great farmer, great nation. No farmer, no nation.
It's a good program. This program actually is talking about the land acquisition for agricultural purpose, which would make it much more easier for investors to have a straight memorandum of understanding that is perfect for them and the owners of the land. And that by so doing, it would have eliminated so many security issues.
the issues of hormoneless thugs and touts would have been eliminated. So that in itself have combated some of the security issues. And like I said, it's a work in progress. So whatever we encounter on the road, we would always look for a solution to it.
In treason, the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project is indeed a good step in the right direction, as the state economic potentials is about to be unlocked through agriculture, thereby creating an enabling and secured environment for investors, strengthening the Agric food value chain of the state, and bring about all-round prosperity to the state and the citizenry. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe wa ni.